brothers, Cecil and Vaughn, and her sisters, Irma and Caroline. That gave me access to the inner sanctum of the Franklin world before I began working with Aretha herself. Smokey Robinson, who had grown up in Detroit around the corner from the Franklins and was Cecil's closest friend, made many of those introductions. Aretha's siblings became my allies in convincing her to take me on as a collaborator. Over the years, they provided me with invaluable and detailed information about their sister. Every time I went to Detroit, which was often, I sent Aretha a postcard expressing my hope that we could meet. Then, in 1994, it happened. On a Wednesday night at approximately 8 o'clock, the phone rang in my room in the Athenaeum Hotel. "Mr. Ritz," she said, "this is Aretha Franklin." A lifetime stutterer, I couldn't get out the first word. For a second, I panicked. What if my 2-decade pursuit resulted in my inability to utter a single sentence? What if the shock of her call rendered me mute? What if, right then and there, I blew the whole thing? Perseverance overwhelmed fright, and with considerable difficulty, I managed to say how happy I was that she called. "I'm interviewing collaborators for my autobiography," she said, "and I wanted to speak with you." "Thank you, Miss Franklin." I wanted to call her Aretha, but the formality of her tone, she would call me Mr. Ritz for several more weeks, let me know that would be unwise. "I want to hear how you would go about working with me," she said. "I'll be glad to come see you whenever it's convenient," I said. "I'm not doing personal interviews, just phone calls." "So this is it?" My question triggered her first laugh. "Yes, Mr. Ritz, this is it. Tell me your approach." I explained in the most impassioned terms possible my view of this project, that it was her book I was interested in, not mine, that I was convinced hers was one of the great untold stories in modern American culture, that no one loved her music more than I, that no one listened to her records more obsessively or followed her career as studiously as I did, that no one would work harder to render her authentic voice authentically, that it was my lifetime dream to tell her story and tell it right. She ended the call without saying when a decision would be made. I couldn't sleep that night. Until the second call came a week later, I was a mess. When I learned that Miss Franklin had selected me, it was one of the happiest moments of my life. The first thing I did was pull out her glorious gospel album, Amazing Grace, and listen to it from start to finish. I called my friend Billy Preston, whom I had met through Ray Charles decades earlier, to tell him the good news. Billy and Aretha shared a common mentor, Reverend James Cleveland, the gospel great and one of my most reliable sources of information regarding Aretha. Billy had traveled the same sacred-to-secular path as Aretha. They'd known each other since they were kids. They'd been in the same studios and on the same stages together dozens of times. For years, Billy had given me insights into Aretha's world. He congratulated me and added a warning. "Keep your hopes high and your expectations low." "Why do you say that, Billy?" "Because I know her, and girlfriend ain't giving it up. Ever." I didn't want to believe him. I didn't want to believe other friends and associates of Aretha who told me that I'd never break through her armor and get the real story. I didn't want to believe Irma Franklin, who said, "I love my sister dearly, and my prayers are with you. Nothing would make me happier than to see her purge all that pain she's been through. But honestly, I don't see her doing that. She's built a wall around herself that no one's been able to climb over." Fueled by an inexhaustible enthusiasm, I saw myself scaling that wall, even if others said that was impossible. Nearly all Aretha's closest associates echoed Billy Preston and Irma. They said that Aretha had been increasingly difficult to work with, impatient, controlling, and quick to anger. I didn't care. I'd change all that. I'd be so patient, so uncontrolling, so sweet and mellow that she'd have to come round. After all, at that point in my career, I knew how to handle stars. I was used to difficult personalities. For all his brilliance, Ray Charles could be cantankerous. I'd had to chase Marvin Gaye from Hawaii to England to Belgium to get him to tell me his story while he dealt with debilitating depression. Etta James described herself as schizophrenic.